Earlier this month, I flew down to Atlanta, Georgia for an event called Filmstock. This was put on by KEH Camera, the Darkroom Lab, and Beers and Cameras. This entire event was all about celebrating film photography. There were photo walks and meetups at different breweries. I was lucky enough to be one of the guests that KEH flew in for the event, so myself and a number of other photographers and creators, we were there a few days before the actual event started, had a lot of different things planned, and just had an incredible time. So in this video, I want to share just what the experience was like and some pictures that I made while I was there. The day that we all arrived, we didn't have anything planned. We all just flew in, got settled, and just went out for some dinner and some drinks, got to walk around Atlanta a little bit and shoot some photos, just kind of get familiar with the area. I brought my M6 with the 35 and some HP5. That's the only camera I brought with me to shoot, which I'll do an entire video after this talking about that specific decision because I thought about bringing other cameras. Ultimately, I went with just this one setup and very glad I did. I'll do a whole video talking about that because there's a lot to get into, but that's what I shot with the entire time. So any of the photos you see, that is what it was made with. The following day, after everyone had arrived, we got to tour the entire KEH facility, everything from the warehouse to the offices and even their retail space, which was just incredible. We got to see their entire process from receiving gear, doing inspections, doing repairs, their inventory and how it's all organized, how everything gets shipped out. KEH Camera has been one of the longest sponsors I've had here on this channel. I've been working with them for so long, and I was buying a lot of gear and recommending them before I even had a YouTube channel. But to see all of this for the first time in person, it was just such a cool experience. And to meet the people behind KEH Camera who I've had this relationship with for so long, to actually meet them in person, spend time with them, and just get to know more of their process in person, it was just something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I've got to say, window shopping, going through the warehouse and just seeing everything in their inventory in person, it's very dangerous, very gas inducing, but somehow I came away without buying any cameras, any lenses, anything like that. I was pretty proud of myself because that took some serious restraint. It's one thing to be looking online and seeing everything. To see it all in person and be able to pick it up and hold it, it was very, very tempting. But I came away without spending any money, so pretty happy about that. They brought us into the vault, which is where they have all of their rare and sort of collectible high-end cameras, which is something that they rarely ever let anyone into. So to let us in there and see everything, get to hold everything with gloves, of course, it was just a really cool experience being able to go in there and see these like pieces of photography history in a way. It was a good time. It was really, really cool. I've also got to give a special shout out to their cardboard repurposing machine that they have, where all of these packages that they're getting in all of the time, they have tons of cardboard, and they have this machine that they feed it through that kind of cuts up the cardboard a little bit so that it's more malleable and you can actually just use it to package and pad out their own shipments that are going out, which is a great, nice green thing to do, I guess, to see this cardboard being repurposed. But to see the machine in action, I think a lot of us were just as excited to see that as we were the vault. So special shout out to that and the cardboard machine. It was just a good time. We all had so much fun there at KEH's facility, and while we were there, actually, they surprised us all with this little kind of care package, which had some KEH gear, shirts and hats specifically for Filmstock, little pins, things like that. And then a Polaroid Go. They gave all of us a Polaroid Go, which blew my mind. I was not expecting that at all, and I had never shot with one of these things before. They are insanely small, and I ended up using that a lot while I was there. I was really excited to see what this tiny little format was like. It's smaller than Instax Square. It's insanely small, but for some reason that makes it so much fun, and it's just this tiny camera, no control at all. You can turn the flash on or off, and that's really all the control you have in this camera. But I was shooting with it nonstop. I got as much film as I could that KEH had. They had some old expired film that they used basically just to test the cameras. So I shot like 4 packs of that while I was there. And once I got home, I gave the camera to Elliot, and he's been obsessed with it, and he's been shooting with it nonstop. So it was cool to bring that home and give that to him as his first Polaroid camera. But I had a lot of fun with that thing while I was there in Atlanta. There's something about the tiny form factor. It seems odd and impractical, but it's a lot of fun. As I mentioned, KEH has been a sponsor here on the channel for so long. You've heard me talk all about everything they do and what they have to offer, but seeing it in person and hearing and meeting the people behind KEH, the people who are there day in and day out doing what they do, it just reaffirmed all of those things even more. To see the care that they put into what they do and the care they're putting into this gear to keep that sustainability going. If you're ever looking to buy used gear or sell any gear to make room for something new, I highly encourage you to go with KEH Camera. They are the best place to do it. I have links and codes down below that help support this channel at no extra cost to you. As a matter of fact, if you use the codes, you can get a bonus on your quote or a discount on your purchase. So definitely check those out down below if you're interested. And huge thanks to KEH Camera for not only sponsoring this video, but also for this incredible experience in Atlanta. The following day, before we got started with the plans that we had in place, I was able to finally meet up with a good friend, Ray. Ray ran what was called Grade Select. If any of you were around or remember that, if you ever saw stickers that said buy film, not megapixels, that was Ray. We've been friends for so long at this point, and he just recently moved to Atlanta, so it was kind of perfect timing that we were able to finally meet up, get some coffee, and shot a couple portraits of him as well. After that, we all went over to Cam Kirk Studios in Atlanta, and Cam Kirk is a photographer that's been working in the hip-hop industry for a long time. If you're into hip-hop at all, you've probably seen his work somewhere. And Cam Kirk Studios was founded in 2017. This is a studio built by photographers for photographers. While giving us the tour, they really explained their vision and the purpose of Cam Kirk Studios, and this is a place that's really serving their photography community. It's a space that you can book for your own shoots, which they are constantly booking appointments there. They have multiple studios, all of the lighting and backdrop and staging equipment that you could think of. They've got an editing suite, a lounge. Everything that you could think of that you would need in a studio, they have it there, as well as really helpful staff who are always there to help set things up, bounce ideas off of. It's just an incredible place that's truly serving their community, unlike any other studio I've ever seen. After the tour of the entire space, they just cut us loose and let us go and shoot photos in the studio with any of the equipment we wanted to use. This amazing natural light setup, which is where I spent all of my time because it's just perfect. We also had a model come in, Brooklyn Wilkes, who was extremely kind and had a lot of fun just shooting photos with everybody. Shot a few photos of her with the M6 and the 35, and overall it was just an incredible experience. Everybody there was so kind, and to see all of these other photographers working kind of in their own way, it was just really, really inspiring. Later that evening was the very first big event of Filmstock, which was the Beers and Cameras meetup at Monday Night Brewing. This was an incredible place with an insane turnout for this meetup. I was not expecting that many people to show up. From what Trev was telling me, I believe this was the largest Beers and Cameras meetup that they had done. So it was awesome to see so many people packed in there. They had giveaways and food and obviously plenty of drinks at the brewery. It was just so much fun. I got to meet and talk with so many people. Anytime I'm in a setting like this and I get to meet people face to face who have been watching the YouTube videos, it's just really encouraging, and it sort of refills the tank in a way where it's just a reminder that there are real people watching these videos. And to talk with everyone that came out and to hear all of the kind words, it meant the world. So I had a lot of fun at the brewery. I'm sure everyone else did as well. And that was just the start, because the following day, Saturday, was when things were really going to kick off. Before the big photo walk started on Saturday, myself and a few other people, we all went on a walk kind of around some different areas of Atlanta. We started off at this market, Went for a walk down to some of the historic Martin Luther King sites and the plaza there for him. Being able to see all of that stuff in person was just really a sight to take in. And we walked probably about 4 hours or so before the actual photo walk started. So spent a lot of time walking around that morning, just taking in the sights and the history. Really, really cool experience to be able to do that while we were there. The turnout for the brewery the night before, that was a good turnout and it was incredible. The turnout for the photo walk kind of put me into shock. I was like in disbelief that many people all came out for the photo walk. I have never been in one place with that many photographers at once. It was insane. We had incredible weather. There were so many people there, all different kinds of cameras, of sizes and formats, and just it was incredible. It was so much fun to meet and talk and just walk all down the Beltline with everybody. We shot photos and hung out all the way down to Brewdog, which was where we ended the photo walk and had sort of a, final party get together type thing. And that day was just so much fun. I got to meet so many different people, hang out with friends, shoot a lot of photos. Being where I am in Southern Ohio, I rarely ever spend time with other photographers in real life, which works out for me well for the most part, I think, because for the majority of the photos I take and how I like to make photos, I like to do it by myself. If I'm hanging out with other people, I rarely ever pull the camera out unless I'm taking a portrait or something of that person or just taking kind of documentary snapshot stuff. If I'm actually going out looking for things to photograph that don't include people, it's hard for me to see and really kind of make those connections when I'm hanging out with other people and talking with other people. But this was such a cool experience. I think just overall, everyone that came out to the photo walk, that was really exciting for me. And I was able to kind of feed off of that, especially the people, the guests that were also there, friends that I hadn't seen in a while, friends I got to hang out with for the first time for several days. I was really feeding off of that creativity and just that energy, being around other photographers and seeing how they work and what catches their eye. For the most part, I like to kind of keep to myself when it comes to actually being out with my camera, but this was a really fulfilling and rejuvenating kind of trip for me. I really got a lot out of everyone that was there that I got to spend time with. I'm hoping this is just the first of many Filmstock events because I know everyone at KEH and the Darkroom and Beers and Cameras, I know this was a lot for them to plan, and it was probably way more stress than they would ever admit to, trying to get all of this organized, especially in such a short time. But they pulled it off incredibly well. We had so much fun, such an incredible turnout, and the people I got to hang out with, this was truly like one of the best trips, the best experiences I've had in terms of photography. So couldn't thank them enough. KEH, the Darkroom, Beers and Cameras, and especially everyone who came out to Filmstock. It was just so much fun. I'm already looking forward to the next one. So this was just some of the highlights from the trip. Obviously being there for several days, it's hard to sum up and put all of that into words, but it was just an incredible experience, something I'm very thankful for. And if you were at Filmstock, I would love to hear what your favorite part of it was in the comments. If you weren't at Filmstock, I would definitely encourage you to keep an eye out for the next one because, again, I hope this is something we can keep doing in the future. So much fun, and I would encourage all of you to show up for something like this. So that's it for today. If you have any questions at all about the photos or Filmstock itself, anything at all, we can keep the conversation going in the comments down below. But that's it for today. So thank you all for watching. I love you. I'll see you guys soon.